Hey, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing really well out there. And if you happen to be new here, a warm welcome. It's the first time you clicked on any of my videos. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you, but especially if you're new here, a warm welcome. My name is Tobias, and here on my channel I talk about music, the music that I grew up with in the 1980s and leading up until today. I'm still discovering new music, old music that is new to me, and so forth and so on. And here on my channel I have an anchor point just since a while back, and that is posting Friday videos, and I call them Friday Crescendo within brackets, but it's really nothing special. It's just me talking about music. But I do have one rule that I set up for myself, and that is not doing reviews on Fridays. And I'm gonna break that rule today. Yes, in a way. Well, yeah. Well, it's my rule, so I'm allowed to break it. But yeah, it's all about Madonna today. And she has a new album out that actually came out 2 weeks ago. And if anyone noticed, I wasn't here last Friday. It's the first Friday I missed, really. And that was because of personal reasons, and I won't go into that at all, but I just haven't had the energy to do anything last week. So I already recorded the review of the new Madonna album, or shall we call it an EP? Well, for me, it's an album. So I already recorded that. I sat down this week to try to edit that video, and I was like, do you know what? Save it for the Friday, because I have some more things that I want to mention about Madonna. So Madonna, just short about Madonna and me. It's been one of my constants in music-wise in my life. Discovered her in 1984, like so many others, with Like a Virgin album, her second album. And ever since then, I've been following her through thick and thin, or whatever you call it. So whenever she released a new album, a new single, I've been there. I was even there for her Hard Candy album. That was a tough time, I have to admit, but I was there. I was by her side. I was supporting her all through that era. Yeah, hard one, but yeah. So Madonna, I love her. So whenever she has a new single out nowadays as well, or a new album, I want to talk about that. And I haven't really done a deep dive on Madonna, so I thought we'll kick it off for this Friday, really, because it's not just about the review of her new album. I'm going to mention a couple of things about that, but also what we can look forward to when it comes to Madonna in 2025, because I'm pretty sure, and I'm not alone in this, that we're going to have some big news when it comes to Madonna this year. So, yeah, that's where I come from. But, you know what I love? I was about to say even more than music, but I love it equally as much as the music that I listen to and talk about, and that is Fridays. Yes, and now it just happens to be Friday again, right? Friday Crescendo for me. The high time of the week, really. The gateway into the weekend. So we need to kick things off this Friday night, and we do that, as usual, with Danny from The Kids from Fame.
Friday night's gonna be alright, it's gonna be right, it's gonna be alright now, baby. Friday night.
Is there a better way to kick things off on a Friday night than listening to Danny from The Kids from Fame singing about Friday night? I don't think so. What a great one. Thank you, Danny, once again for that. We're off for this Friday night. And I'm gonna kick things off with my reflections, or you might call it a review, of Madonna's new album, Veronica, Electronica. Back in 1998, she released this album, Ray of Light, which was a huge success and one of her real high points in her career, according to me at least. Well, I'm not alone in that. It's a highly praised album. A lot of great singles from this one, produced with William Orbit mainly, and he has a very distinctive sound to his, I would say, ambient techno productions or progressive house productions that he's done throughout the years. And he really put that sound into this record, and it was a perfect match, really, when it comes to William Orbit and Madonna. They actually had a history before this with him doing some remixes for her, but we're going to come into that one in a later episode here on my channel, because I'm going to do even further deep dive in Madonna territory, so to speak. But yeah, this was a Ray of Light. It was a huge success, like I said, and just shortly after it was released, I think a couple of singles has been released as well. She was talking about to the press about releasing a companion album to Ray of Light, and at the time of recording Ray of Light, she took on this moniker of Veronica Electronica, because she was truly into the electronic, the techno house scene at the time, she thought. So she was Veronica Electronica, and to really express that, she wanted to release this companion record with some unheard mixes, who knows, perhaps some outtakes. It was something different from Ray of Light. It was, well, not completely different from what I remember she was saying, but in the vein of Ray of Light, but more kind of a club record, really. So I remember a time when I heard about this and I was really excited, but then it just fizzled away. Something else came up, who knows, and over the years it has popped into my mind from time to time, and on some Madonna forums you could read some threads about this. It's like, what could it have been? We never got it, and so forth and so on. And then finally this year we got that album from Madonna called Veronica Electronica, and I will try to show you this one here, and I say try because it's quite shiny. It's probably the shiniest record in my collection, and it looks like this. Well, it wasn't actually too bad if I tilt it this way. This is what it looks like on the front, and there you go, the back. Yeah, as I said, it's really hard to show this one off. It's so shiny, it's basically a mirror, so if I pointed any other way, yeah, you get the point. It looks really stunning. And of course we have Madonna here, Veronica Electronica, and it does say here on the hype sticker that it's 8 tracks celebrating Madonna's Ray of Light album, which is true, featuring rare and newly edited remixes, plus the previously unreleased song Gone Gone Gone, all remastered and pressed on silver vinyl. Yes, indeed, it is a silver vinyl, and it's a gorgeous thing. This wrinkly thing here, it looks like it's really got all these wrinkles on it, and it's a semi-transparent silver vinyl, I would say. Most importantly, it sounds really good. I think it's nice, nicely pressed, nicely mastered and all that. It's very quiet pressing, no crackles and pops that are noises, no. So I was lucky with my copy, perhaps, but I think it's a really good one, and I haven't heard any complaints really from anyone else who got this one. And we also got an inner bag, or what do you call them? The inner sleeve. Yeah, so this is the one with a Madonna out of focus on this side. A beautiful photo. I think it's really stylistic. And then on the other side, some credits. And once again, a very shiny inner sleeve or inner bag. Yeah, but it's really nice. And like I said, it sounds really good. And this is the only format that you can get it on, only on vinyl. She did a similar thing with this one behind me. It was granted an RSD release at the time, but yeah, wasn't available on CD either. But I think with Veronica Electronica, because it's such a mythical album really, and now it's finally released, a lot of people would like to get their hands on it. Of course you can stream it, but I do understand if you want to own a physical copy and you don't have a record player, you want to have a CD perhaps. But yeah, you can't get it. Hopefully they'll change their mind and press some CDs, because what I can tell, this has been a huge success. So, did we get what we were promised back in the late 90s when it comes to the Veronica Electronica album? Well, as we just saw here on the hype sticker, it says it's a celebration of Madonna's Ray of Light album, which I absolutely agree with. But the content of this album was a bit disappointing. Not because it's bad tracks at all, but it is mixes that we already got back in the day. We do get 2 tracks here that are a bit more obscure, a bit more rare really. And I'm going to come to those. But overall, these are mixes that were included on the different CD maxis back in the time that was released from the Ray of Light album. And if you were lucky, you picked them up on vinyl as well. So yeah, nothing really unique. The unique thing with this, it's that, as the hype sticker says once again, it is featuring newly edited remixes. But we've been here before. And that goes back to this EP back here. That is American Life, the Mix Show mix. And great mixes, but the same kind of thing done, newly edited versions, because they need to cram in all of these mixes on a single LP. And she did the same really with the Celebration compilation that was released a couple of years ago. What's it, 2 years ago now? And yeah, there were so many variations of it. They're really great if you don't want to go and try to find the originals on a CD or whatever. You can get them all, but they are edited because of time constrictions. You can't cram too much into an LP, so that's why. So that is what we got with Veronica Electronica as well. So I'm just going to list the tracks here really quick, and then I'm going to do some reflections on some of these tracks. So Drowned World / Substitute for Love, a great single from her album. This time around in a BT and Sasha Bucklodge Ashram new edit. And great mix, I have to say, in its original. I'm going to come back to these edited ones. The second track is Ray of Light, the iconic title track, of course, the big hit for her at the time. This time around in the Sasha Twillo mix edit. I really don't need to say edit on every one of these, because they're all called edit after the name of the mix. The third track is one of these obscure tracks from back in the day. It's Skin. Yeah, the track in itself is not rare at all because it's on the album. But this mix, the collaboration remix in this case, it's a rare one because it's never been officially released. I believe it was a Peter Rauhofer mix, that one, nearly 11 minutes long in its original. Here edited down to around 5 minutes something. Yeah. So that is one of those rare tracks. And then rounding off side 1 on this Veronica Electronica album, Nothing Really Matters, another great single and a track from the album Ray of Light. Here in the Club 69 speed mix meets the dub. So here is the first one where we can see that they mixed 2 mixes, if you know what I mean. So 2 mixes that came out at the time for Nothing Really Matters by Club 69. One was a dub, one was the speed mix, and they just made a mashup of those. More about that in a moment. Then we flip this thing over, and on side 2 we find Sky Fits Heaven. This is the Victor Calderone Future mix, or new edit, as it says here. Another great mix, I think, from Victor Calderone. And yeah, It really works really well. Very much a product of its time, but I could say that for any of these mixes really. But I think with the Victor Calderone, it brings me straight back to 1998, 1999, around there, when you went to the clubs dancing. That's a kind of a sound, that kind of a remix sound. He was really hot at the time, Victor Calderone. Anyhow, the next track on this one is one of the huge singles as well from this album, Frozen. And this is the widescreen mix and drums, it says here. And I happen to know, because I have the maxi single for Frozen, that the widescreen mix, it was just called the widescreen mix. It's a William Orbit mix. But this time around it's called widescreen mix and drums. So I was a bit curious, because I know a couple of years ago they released a couple of, I would say, new mixes. I think they are archived mixes that were released. I can't remember, was it streaming services? I should check that up. But one of them was a Drumapella, it was called, of Frozen, by William Orbit as well. So I wonder if this widescreen mix is a mix of that original widescreen mix and the Drumapella that was released as well. But that's just me speculating, really. I have the widescreen mix, as I said, so I'm very familiar with that, and I can hear there are some differences in this one, and it is edited down as well from its original, so hard to say, but yeah, me speculating. And then The Power of Goodbye. It's just great tracks really on this one from the album, and this is the Fabian's Good God mix. Yeah. What can I say? Great track, and I love the remix as well. And then the closing track for this album is Gone, Gone, Gone. And that is the original demo version, as it says here. Another unreleased track, officially unreleased track. Because with the Skin that I mentioned before, it has been circulating on the bootleg market over the years. And that goes with Gone, Gone, Gone as well. Really great track. I'm going to reflect on some of these tracks in a moment here, but I just want to say, when it comes to this, I think it's a great compilation of great mixes that was released at the time. And as I said, you get 2 unreleased tracks, officially unreleased tracks on this one as well. So it's worth picking up just because of that. And of course, a good way to have all of these collected in one place, these mixes, even if they are edited. And just like with this one, I was really pleased with that one, because I have some of these original mixes before. Some of them I hadn't before, so that's why I did buy this one. The same goes for this, because I was really curious what they have done because of these mashups between one mix and another into one track, and how they did this. How did they accomplish this? And I think they did a great job with it. I think going from the Sasha mix, for example, of Ray of Light, which is an epic mix really in its original. It's nearly 11 minutes long in its original, and I love that mix. And it has this great way of building, and then the breakdown, you know, that classic breakdown, and then it all kicks off again. Sasha was great when it came to remixes back in the 90s, and this is no exception at all. And to then take an 11-minute track and condense it down to 5 minutes, it's not an easy task, especially with a mix like that builds, has different stages to it. But I think under the circumstances, they have done a great job with this one, for sure. And that goes with all of the other mixes as well. I'm very familiar with these mixes in their original. I think they did a great job. And it's a great way for, you know, people just getting into Madonna. They hadn't really collected Madonna before, and like I said, of course you can go hunting on the second-hand market, but this is a great way to get all of these mixes, even if they are condensed down to a shorter running time. I think it's a great way to introduce people into the fantastic sound that William Orbit and Madonna created back in 1998 with Ray of Light. You get all these great tracks, and as I said, the bonus tracks as well. So yeah, that is my take on it. I have nothing against it. I was really disappointed that we didn't get anything that we were promised in the first place back in the late 90s with Veronica Electronica. I would love to see. There must be great outtakes. There must be some remixes lying around, especially from William Orbit. Who knows? But there must be something that they could have done with this. But to me, this feels like they tested the market. Like, well, if we're going to release something similar in the future and not make it an RSD exclusive, we release it like we did with this. Is it going to work? So I think they played it a bit safe as well. So yeah, let's include the old mixes. We just edit them, really, like we did with that one. But yeah, release it not just on RSD day, or on RSD. Yeah, so I think that's it. But it's Madonna. It's going to sell. And lo and behold, it has sold really, really well. It's actually sold out in many places as I speak. So yeah, hopefully it was just to test the ground. But I think it was the wrong album to test the ground with, Veronica Electronica. They should have saved that title for what it was actually supposed to be. Enough ranting about that. More Madonna to look forward to. I mentioned this one in a previous Friday crescendo that I did, and that was Madonna teasing something earlier this year. I think it was back in February on her Instagram, and that has to do with the album that preceded this one, and that is Bedtime Stories, a more R&B influenced album, a really good one. There was some electronica on that one as well. As usual, Madonna like to mix things up. Great album. I think it's really great, Bedtime Stories, but a very different album from Ray of Light. But from that one, she teased in, as I said, I believe it was February or March, where she put up a post says, and I'm going to put it up here somewhere. I'm going to move over. It says, Bedtime Stories, The Untold Chapter, an EP featuring a never before heard stories, early demos, and etc., basically. And I remember when I saw this, I was like, wow, that would be something. It's not just a remix album from Bedtime Stories. We're actually going to get some rare, never before heard stories, as she says, on this one. And then after a while, she took that post down. But of course, people saved it for posterity. And as an evidence, she promised us the Bedtime Stories EP. This was going to be an EP with some unheard tracks. And this is more like what I was expecting for Veronica Electronica, to be honest. And what happened? Yeah, she took the post down. We haven't heard anything about this since that was posted and taken down. But I do think, could it be, and I did speculate about this in my earlier episode as well around this one, is this the proof of this being the testing ground once again? Was this like, okay, we could do that Bedtime Story, but it's a bit risky. Let's do the Veronica Electronica first, but let's not include any rare, strange tracks from the time. Let's just include mixes and see how it goes. I really hope that is the case, but I'm sad that we had to sacrifice the great title Veronica Electronica for that. I know I'm repeating myself here, but I'm really passionate about this. I just want to point out another thing. There is one track that I left out when it comes to my judgment from the new Veronica Electronica. But now when we are talking about Bedtime Stories, the unreleased EP or the promised EP from Madonna, I want to bring up that demo track Gone, Gone, Gone. That is the last track on Veronica Electronica. I heard that track before, and it was years and years ago, and it didn't really have any lasting impressions on me. But now listening to it in really good quality as well, it is such an earworm. It's one of those songs that I kept repeating after the first listening. I was like, oh, let's listen to it again. And then again, and then again. I love that song, but it has nothing to do with Ray of Light. The sound of it, it doesn't belong in Ray of Light. And I think there's an easy explanation to this. It was recorded well before the Ray of Light session started, and it sounds more like it belonged to this great album, Bedtime Stories. So what we just talked about, that would have been a great track to include on that EP, for example, that we never saw the light of day of. But probably Gone, Gone, Gone was recorded closer to the Ray of Light sessions than the Bedtime Stories album. So I get it, but still, it's got that sound that we got familiar with on the Bedtime Stories album. And yeah, I can highly, highly recommend that track to anyone who is in love with the sound that she had on Bedtime Stories. Perfect one. And another big newsworthy thing is the rumors that are circulating at the moment. Well, they are half rumors and half truth. We know that Madonna is preparing a new album. She has been working with the producer behind this excellent album, Confessions on the Dance Floor. And that is Stuart Price, of course. And she's actually in London as we speak, I think. I saw some photos on her Instagram just yesterday. And that's where the other thing comes in when it comes to the rumors around a new album from Madonna in 2025. How far gone are they in the production? Is it just beginning? Have they already recorded everything so they're mixing it now? We don't really know. We can only speculate, and that's what people are doing today. So a lot of people, I say they, but a lot of people have been really dissecting the photos that Madonna has been sharing with her and Stuart Price in his studio. And they are like, oh, you see that microphone? That's exactly the same one they used on this album, Confessions on the Dance Floor. And could that mean it's Confessions on the Dance Floor 2? Or, yeah, I hope she's more innovative than that. She won't release an album, I'm pretty sure, that's called Part 2 or something like that. But it could be in the same vein, of course, but it doesn't have to be either. I mean, yeah, look, that's the same microphone that she's using that she used on that album, but that doesn't mean that it's going to turn out the same as Confessions on the Dance Floor, if you know what I mean. It just happens to be Stuart's favorite microphone when recording Madonna. Who knows? And someone was pointing out, look at his synthesizers, exactly the same synthesizers that he used on that album. Yeah, wow. Well, you know, musicians, producers, they have favorite synthesizers, favorite drum machines, favorite guitars and all of that. And they usually don't switch them out for something new. Well, they could add to the collection, but they usually have things that they really like to work with. With William Orbit, for example, on Ray of Light, he has a very distinctive sound that he brought to that album from his background in electronic dance music with progressive house and ambient techno and all that. And that goes with any producer that you work with. They're going to have their favorite instrument. So having the same synthesizers that he had on the sessions back in 2005 when that album was recorded has nothing to do with it, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, remember that. But being a musician myself, I had some of my synthesizers been with me ever since the 80s because I love them. I love the sound of them and the way I've learned to work with them and all of that. So I don't read in too much of this. What we can read into this is the excitement of getting a new album from Madonna. And I don't care if it's a follow-up in the same vein as Confessions on the Dance Floor or if it's something completely different. The most important thing is that we're going to get a new album from Madonna, and in my book, that is big enough. Where I'm going with this is that I like speculating as well. I love people speculating about the new Madonna album. But reading all these forums and all these threads, there are a handful of people that I think take this way too seriously. It's not just speculation. They actually expect a part 2 of Confessions on the Dance Floor. And I don't think that that's going to happen, because if you look back on Madonna's discography, no album is like the other. She's always been about reinventing herself, looking forward, taking inspiration, the latest trends, whatever. And I think that's what's happening now. Look at her latest album, Madame X, an excellent album, but it's nothing like anything she released before, and that's been the trend really with Madonna. So what I want to say to some people that are speculating, and they probably won't watch this, but if you do, try to level your expectations, because if you're too serious about these speculations, you're just going to end up really disappointed. And hey, that's just my 2 cents, right? I could be totally wrong, and we would get a part 2. Who knows? My 2 cents. But I think it's those memories that I still have from that one time when she was trying to reinvent herself and she tried too hard. It was just that one time, but whew, it was tough. But that's it for me and my ramblings around Madonna and the rumors that we are surrounded with at the moment. And we also got a review of her new album, Veronica, Electronica. Yeah. So please let me know if you have heard this album and what you think about it. And if you haven't heard this one, you probably have an opinion on Madonna. Most people have, even if you don't really like her music. I would love to hear all about it down in the comments for sure. And I have a reason to come back to Madonna again, because I have a pretty substantial collection when it comes to Madonna records, both on CD and vinyl. As I said, she's one of those constants in music, really, that's been with me ever since I discovered her, through thick and thin. A huge thank you to all of you who have been watching this video to the end. And as I said in the beginning, if you're new here, I really hope you would like to return to watch some more videos with me. I have a lot of them. There are some playlists and things like that you can find on my channel. But otherwise, I'll be back at least next Friday with yet another episode where I'm going to talk about something really exciting. But you have to wait until next Friday. Now, you all have a great weekend. Keep listening to the music, and you all take care of yourself. And as usual, a very heartfelt adieu.
Movie rolls on, there ain't no more love scenes, the romance is gone. But it's a one-man show, it's moving real slow, but it's picking up speed as I'm turning the key. Coming up, coming up, coming